recall many years ago, I had a coworker, a very nice and sweet Jewish girl, who would often vent her frustrations to me about her mean grandmother. The grandmother would say things to her like, "You're not pretty enough," or "Your boyfriend can do better." I will never forget the day of her wedding. Actually, it was at the reception when my coworker, the bride, storms out in tears. No sooner did I find out that her grandmother had been making snide remarks about her on her wedding day. She told her that she looked fat in her unflattering wedding dress. It was mean, it was rude, and definitely uncharitable. I have no doubt that all of us have known or know someone who's so judgmental and critical of others. Such a person is quick to condemn another for their faults, only to realize that their own faults are just as many or even more. It kind of borders on cowardice, because the things that we judge in others are really the things within ourselves that we don't want to face. This is why Jesus uses the example in today's gospel of our failure to see the log in our eye and the ability to see the speck in the others. Jesus invites us to examine our conscience. He wants us to use our ability to recognize our personal shortcomings and guard against our tendency to criticize the defects of others. Jesus clearly, though metaphorically, tells us that we have no right to criticize unless we ourselves are free from faults. Having a critical or judgmental spirit is having a darkened heart that seeks to condemn, hurt, and sometimes destroy others in words. Now, let me be clear, however, this is not the same as constructive criticism, which involves opinions and charitable suggestions for the purpose of building up, not tearing down. That is in sharp contrast to harboring a critical disposition, which only puts a major roadblock in our hearts, mind, and soul to loving God and loving our neighbors as ourselves. Let's face it, sometimes we do fall into this darkness of a judgmental or critical spirit. It easily happens when we gossip. That is, when we go around revealing secret or private information to others, often with sinful or malicious intent or motive. It happens when we slander or make false statements for the sake of damaging a person's reputation, with absolutely no care for the truth or no care for fraternal correction that Scripture calls us to do. And yes, we fall into the darkness of a critical spirit when we complain too much, meaning we are habitually negative, not only about others, but even about ourselves. You know, the woe is me. A complainer is ungrateful, in constant discontent, and fails to see the bright and positive side of things. So how do we stop our tendency to condemn, judge, or criticize others? We can begin by learning to define our self-worth intrinsically. As God's children, made in His image and likeness, we have to learn to see the beautiful qualities of our true self. No, we're not perfect, and God doesn't expect us to be perfect. But deep down, there is that caring, compassionate, kind, fun, and generous part of us that's got to come out more often. Until we stop focusing on the externals, like how fat somebody is, we will not be able to connect with who they are within. And until we recognize, value, and love our true self, our essence, we will not be able to see and value the essence of others. American historian James Truslow Adams once said, "There is so much good in the worst of us, and so much bad in the best of us, that ill becomes any of us to find fault with the rest of us."